This is lesson 27 for Saxon 5, reading scales. So we're going to start off with these are two different scales. So the first thing you need to do when you're reading a scale is you need to figure out what each increment is. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is a basic thermometer one. So you'd be using these for telling temperature or telling the temperature of you or outside or wherever else, inside your oven. Okay, if you don't have a digital thermometer, this is what you would be using. So the first thing we need to figure out is we need to figure out what these lines mean. Okay, those ones down there. Because we know what these ones mean. Those ones are labeled, but we need to figure out what the unlabeled ones mean. So how I do this is I start off by normally, if a scale is going up, it's going up in either ones, twos, five, tens, 50s, or hundreds. Okay, I find those are the most common numbers a scale goes up by. So the easiest way to do this is to start at the bottom and work our way up. Now we'll get into something a little bit different over here just for instead of starting at the bottom and working our way up, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so we're going to start here. Can these little increments be 1? Well, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that should be 5. It's not, it's 10. But because I know my doubles, I know that 10 is double 5. So that means that the ones coming up must be double 1. Well, one doubled is 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, all these little increments mean 2. Okay, so let's keep going. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And I can keep going up, but I don't really need to because here is my 1. Okay, so I have 10, 12, 14. 14 is where this is. So this is 14 degrees Celsius because the degrees Celsius is down here, it shows you. Okay, that would be figuring out this one. Let's move to this one. Now, instead of starting at 1, okay, because these are 400, 600, 800. Now, obviously, there's not enough little lines in between here to get from 400 to 600. So I'm not going to start at 1s or 2s or 5s or 10s because there's just not enough little lines. So let's try starting at 50s. If we did 400, 450, 500. That makes sense because see, the line is bigger like the one pointing at 400. There's just no number underneath it. So this would be 500, 550, 600. That works. So we're going up by 50s, okay? Which means I can now find out what my little arrow is pointing at. My little arrow is pointing at 4, 450, 5, 550. It is pointing at 550. Now this one is indicative of a weight scale. Okay, so ones older ones that you would stand on, they would spin around and they would show you where you are in weight. But again, the important thing is to know what your increments are. What are you going up by? Is it ones, twos, fives, tens, 50s, hundreds? What are you going up by? Okay, that will allow you to easily figure out what your number you're looking at is. Okay, one of the examples that it wants us to go over in the book is looking at making a number line. Okay, so it says draw a horizontal, vertical, horizontal, horizontal. We are drawing a horizontal number line from 0 to 500 with only 0 and hundreds marked and labeled, which means I'm not doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all the way up to 500. That would take way too long. They only want you to mark the hundreds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to draw a horizontal line. Horizontal line has arrows at both sides. I'm going to start at 0. There's my 0. I need to make it to 500. Now I'm only marking it said the hundreds. So 100, 200, 300, 400. Oh, and I made my line a little bit too large. Let's do this and 500. Okay, and there we go. I have made a horizontal number line going from 0 to 500, only marking the hundreds places. That is lesson 27 for Saxon 5, reading scales.